thing.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Decision Sports 2026. 2026 for y'all. It's the Business Decision Sports where we have casual debates by the casual fan, brought to you by the EBH Black Show. But we got half the squad, but we got a full clip. And I got my boy running shotgun with me. It's the smooth Seminole. What are you now? The steaming Steeler?
Oh,
Uh
yeah, I'm the pissed off penguin. Uh,
the
s-
pissed off penguin.
I mean,
Right,
smooth.
right.
There's ain't nothing about the Seminoles been smooth the last couple of years. Oh boy.
Yeah, but you smooth, always been smooth. Tonight we talking about the national championship a little bit. Mendoza, projected number one draft pick. Should the Raiders pick Mendoza? We're gonna talk about, is this the worst Raiders season ever? And did Pete Carroll get done a little dirty down there in Las Vegas? And then we're gonna turn the corner and we're gonna talk about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. Did the fans force Mike Tomlin out? Then we're gonna talk about the new coaching carousel that's going on in the NFL weekend predictions. And if we have time, we'll talk about my light year Warriors. I think we're about a light week away now. We used to be a light year, so we're gonna talk about that as well. But brethren, while I'll check and make sure we got everything running, you was telling me about hockey tonight. What's been going on with you?
Nah, man, just chilling. Been keeping up with the. It's hockey season now because that's what happens when you walk away from a game and you see how wretched the Steelers play. It breaks your heart every year, and then you take like the day and you wake up the next day and you go, you know what? It's hockey season now. So I'm all the way in. Penn's looking great. Tonight was a big night in hockey, a return of a superstar back to his hometown where he played, Mitch Marner, literally the hottest ticket in hockey. Like people were way up in the bleacher, up like nose peanut heaven for $500 Canadian. So that was pretty crazy. No, just relax it. Man, you said it's 2026? What the hell happened to 2025? So
It went by.
that's we've been gone for a minute,
Yeah, I
but we
know we
back.
missed it.
But we back. We back. It's a vibe. Isn't that what the kids say these days? It's a
Hey, time
vibe.
time goes by fast.
It does indeed. Too damn true. I got
But
more white and gray hairs in here now than I did definitely 2 years ago. That's for sure.
but I feel good we're back in the saddle. So the national championship, bro. What you think about that? How'd you feel about the national championship game? Because this is the thing about me in college football. I don't really watch a lot of college football, but I will watch during bowl season or like
Hmm.
national championship or the playoffs, right?
Hmm.
And everyone was talking about Mendoza, and I was thinking talking about how this draft of quarterbacks is probably weaker or as weak as last year. So being that he was projected number one and my Raiders have the number one pick, I said, let me start watching this kid, you know. And then I saw something. That's when I started watching from all the playoff games and all that. So this national championship game, I kind of like really like progressed into it instead of just kind of like just watching that game. But what was your thoughts about the national championship game?
Okay, as a Florida State fan, I'm gonna remove my hatred of Miami aside and my utter joy at their loss aside. I'm gonna put that aside for now. Um, I think it was a hell of a game. Um, real defensive in the first half. Special teams, play here and there, the block punt, everything, big difference. But they started to open it up in the second half, and I think you got to tip your cap to Indiana. At the end of the day, they didn't make a lot of plays, but in the crucial moments, Mendoza delivered, and there's something to be said for that, especially given the circumstances as to who he was playing for. Like Indiana winning a football national championship. Like if I'd have told you that 10 years ago, you'd have been like, no shot. If I'd have told you that 2 years ago, you'd have been like, no shot. They'll win 10 more basketball titles before they win a football title. The weirdest stat out of the entire thing that I heard was Indiana now holds the most recent undefeated season in football to win a national championship and the most recent basketball to win it, to go undefeated and win. And that was back in what, 78? That was the last time a men's college basketball team went undefeated and won the title. Like that's crazy. Um, Mendoza Mendoza didn't light the world on fire. He won the Heisman. He did enough lighting of the fire in the quarterfinal and the semifinal though. Like he took Alabama to the woodshed and he beat the dog piss out of Oregon for a second time. He did it the first time at Oregon, and then with the presumptive other top quarterback in the class in the semifinal, Dante Moore pisses down his leg, throws a pick six on the first play of the game, and Indiana rolled after that. And shockingly enough, Dante goes, I think I'm going to come back to school. Miami's defense was absolutely legit. He went up against an NFL quality D line, and they hit him a lot in that game. And it's funny that you talk about the first overall pick when you've got Mark Davis and Tom Brady not even hiding. Like they're not in a box. They're not kind of tucked away, just kind of watching or anything. They're out there pregame on the Indiana sideline at the 50-yard line, just watching warm-ups. And Mark Davis is sitting there with his bowl cut and he's looking all half Miami Vice. That man could have went over and dry humped Mendoza if they would have let him. And I think the moments that he came up the biggest, I think that's really going to resonate with Brady, especially, because I think he's big into that. And I think it'll take a ginormous offer to move you guys off the number one pick. But the only other thing the national championship game showed was that the committee got it right in getting Miami into the playoff. And Alabama, who went on the road to Oklahoma and won, they were both deserving. And Notre Dame, lesson learned, either join a conference or get the assurances that you just got yesterday or today, that if you do get ranked in the top 12 at the end of the year, you're guaranteed a spot no matter what. That's fine. But it's either you get those types of assurances or join a conference. Stop cherry picking.
Well, that assurance kind of alleviates some of the gripe about Notre Dame, not being picked in it, because you're right. Picking Miami was good because a lot of people had them out. You know what I'm saying? They had
And
them.
remember, Miami beat Notre Dame the first week of the season in Miami. So head to head, at some point, it has to matter. And at the end of the year, the resumes were too damn similar. You've got to put you would set a very dangerous and horrible precedent if you took Notre Dame over Miami. That would be a horrendous precedent.
Yeah. And so for me, the game was a real defensive game, like first three quarters, like really, really defensive. And I liked how they managed Mendoza. It was like they tried to out Miami for a while, long drive. ball control, keep the ball out of other people's hands. Don't try to do too much ball control with running the ball. They were running the ball effectively with Black, uh, and then throw and get the ball out with Mendoza and make plays. And yeah, but they kind of kept him, at bay a little bit, but whatever. Then the fourth quarter came, and then when it got down to where big throws had to be made, first downs had to be made, he started making those plays, and then of course the play that everybody's seen that kind of solidified who he was happened, and let's take a look at that play.
Let Mendoza throw. Fernando takes off, and he gets a big hit. Here is Basaint. Went right after him, and Mendoza really slow to get up. He took a shot. To the 8. He's going to take off and run. Mendoza wins his way. First and goal. Diving for the end zone. Touchdown.
Whoever put the Rocky music in the background, great job on the edit. Like, that's cheers. That's a tip of the glass and tip of the hat to you. That's a hell of a job. And that just shows you the difference between 2 years. Like, Miami did have a scouting report on him because he did play at Cal the year before. So Miami knew what they were up against, and he gave them a run for their money the year before. Miami had to do a crazy comeback with Cam Ward to end up winning that game. They punished him then. They knew coming into this that their number one job was to hit him. Just any chance you got, even if it's just in passing, just give him a shove, give him a hit. Like, it's like hockey playoff style, like just rough him up, like, kind of stuff. That run, that's statue type shit. That's how you don't ever have to pay for a drink in Bloomington, Indiana ever again. You do that type of stuff.
Yeah, so for me, I never watched him play. I didn't know he played at Cal. I found out he played at Cal, so I had to like him a little bit, because I'm Bay Area biased. And so I was like, okay, he went to Cal, got a great education, and then made a business decision and was like, let me see if I can make a run at this thing. And he made a great decision. Now, speaking of decisions, so as I watched him, play the first 2 games, and he had more touchdowns and incompletions, and okay, that raised your eyebrow a little bit, I mean, what are the chances of that happening? Was it a fluke of a thing, or he did it twice? Okay, cool. So now he's kind of earning a little bit of his Heisman acumen, right? So then, national championship game, don't get any bigger, right? 4th down. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I watched that play happen, I was like, they should have ran the ball on that 3rd down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 4th down, I was thinking too, I was like, man, it'd be nice if they could run it here, but I'm thinking running back. And so when he did the quarterback draw, now, even by being a quarterback, when you hear that call in the huddle, that's all gut check right there. It's all gut check. And so once he started running and he started making, trying to get to the 1st down, and it was kind of like a little clog and he made the move, I was like, okay, that's big league, right? Because, I mean, like, I literally felt that moment when you running up to that point, what's going to happen right now? I literally felt the heart part, you know what I'm saying? Where they tell you got to have heart. I felt the heart part, right? And so then once he got the 1st down, I was like, okay, cool. But then the extra drive and the field awareness and the heart and the dog and all the intangibles that you just can't teach a player, he did that at the end, and it just showed everything I needed to see at that point. Usually it takes more than one play, but if there was going to be one play that showed me what I needed to see, that was the play.
Oh, no doubt, because you can't see that on a box score. Like, you have to watch that, see it in real time, or at least not slow-mo or anything. You got to, like, just watch it in real speed, and you see all that. I mean, he put up the glittering stats in the other games. He's got stats. But that, to me, because you have to assume now, You know what assuming does, but when you're the number one pick, you know that that comes with certain pitfalls to it. That you're going to one of, if not the worst team in the league, and usually they don't have a certain base of which to build upon, like an O line. And I think what was imperative that Mark Davis and Tom Brady got to see in live action in a game that mattered, not in shorts, in a t-shirt, in a dome, in room temperature conditions, or in a private workout where they fly him out to Vegas and he does all his stuff, not a pro day, on a live bullets. This is the game of games. The spotlight's on you. They saw a dude that literally can take the licking and keep on ticking. Like, they caught that in person. If you walk away thinking that that dude can't stand up to the rigors of the NFL, that Miami D line is about as NFL ready as you're going to get in college football this year. You got two dudes on that could Ruben Baines going top 10. And their other D end there's some projections have him in the first round. And then you've got the two stud D tackles. Like, that entire line is no joke. And they battered the daylights out of him. There's a picture on Twitter of his arm. He showed it on the broadcast too, but there's a picture of the entire, like, his arm, his throwing arm just being absolutely mangled. And that dude, and even if you go away, even from just the one play, like, obviously the biggest moment was that touchdown run. But the other fourth down conversion later on, when they're trying to run out the clock and everything, and they end up getting that second field goal, that fourth down back shoulder throw, money. Like, those are the big time throws where he's standing in there and he just delivers. Like, he's not running around for his life and he just throws up a prayer. Oh, Caleb Williams, although that throw was sick that he made. But he stood in there. They were coming, and he just stuck it right in there. Great catch by the wide receiver, but also perfect placement by Mendoza. Those are the types of things that you can only see in live action. That, honestly, with the playoffs going as deep as they do now, I think you're going to see a lot more owners and GMs of NFL teams that have the number one picks going forward. I think you're going to see them do that. They're going to copy the Raiders. That's not being hyperbolic. I really think it's a very smart and sound strategy. If you've got a guy that you're looking at as your potential number one overall pick, your franchise guy, you got to do something more than just what film. I mean, you still got to do your film study and everything, but you don't get the chance to see live action up close when your season's done. Like, you go into that unknown. Now with this playoff structure and everything, you're not doing that now. You can actually have a chance to maybe see your guy in live action, and they took advantage of it. Kudos to them.
Yeah, and plus the gravity of the game, the situation, and all this stuff, because when you have the ball with 4 minutes, 5 minutes left in the game, and you're trying to close out the game, and you need 2 or 3 first downs, you're probably going to need two passes from your quarterback. That's big passes, because you're going to run them. You're going to run on first down. You're going to run on second down, and they know you're going to pass on third down. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you make the throws, So at the end of the day, it was really good for the Raiders to see that. It kind of gave me that, maybe not as big as Vince Young against USC, but it was in it's in the gravity of it. I think it's in the hemisphere of it, for him, just for him. It's not as big because the teams, and it was an upset and all the other stuff, but I just think the moment, you know what I'm saying? Big moments. Like when every national championship, or most national championships, have big moments. And that was the big moment of that game. But like you said, those other 2 passes, those back shoulders, those are NFL quality passes. The second one wasn't as good, but he still got it. The defender couldn't get to it. The first one was real money. And I was happy with what I saw, which brings me to the question that everyone is now asking, should the Raider, or well, at least in the Raider Nation, because they're saying they should draft back or whatever. I mean, trade back, and he's not going to turn the franchise around and all the stuff that they're saying. But should the Raiders draft Mendoza?
I would, unless
Huh?
unless you get an offer that completely blows you away. Like there's nobody in this. Like if the barometer is he's not going to turn your franchise around. I mean, he could, like him alongside Genty, Bowers. Like you're laying a foundation. You're not gonna go from worst to first next year. Like that's an unreasonable expectation. So I guess it would depend on what they mean by turn the franchise around. Like if they don't see him being a top 5 quarterback, okay, I get that. But I think he walks in and I think he's immediately your starter. I think you let him take the live rounds right off the bat, similar to what the Titans did to Cam Ward this year. And wherever you fall in the following draft, you build from there. But I mean, if you trade back and get like, where are you trying to like everybody says, oh, they should trade back. Okay, how far down are you willing to drop? And also, what's the other compensation you're thinking you're maybe going to get? Like, there's literally no player in this draft that's going to turn the franchise around. So, I mean, and also moving back in the draft has some disadvantages. Just look at Cleveland. Cleveland ended up with the kid from Michigan, the D lineman, but they didn't want him. They wanted somebody else that ended up getting picked because they traded too far back. They knew Jacksonville wanted Travis Hunter, so they swapped with Jacksonville. And they have an extra first round pick this year. Great. But now you're talking about a whole new regime there. I mean, minus the GM, but coach got fired. You don't know if what you're doing at quarterback yet, whether it's Shador or whatever it is you're doing. You got all that unknown. So what did the extra draft capital really give you this year? Yeah, you have an extra pick, but that's not going to turn the franchise around. So now you've burned 2 years.
So the whole turn the franchise around thing is the Raider fans are really I want to find a word to describe the Raider fan base right now because they acting real sassy right now too because
Mm.
they doing stuff like oh, you want to turn the franchise around, like shut up, man. We got so many holes in our team that you can't get one player to turn the franchise around. And the thing, like you said, we're building a foundation. That's what we were supposed to be doing anyway, trying to reestablish a culture. So if you're telling me that we have Genty, we have Bowers, and we have and now we have like a quarterback that is competent, because that's what we've been looking for, a competent quarterback, somebody that we could kind of rely on. We see that he's rebuilt a franchise, and he's played in the gutter, so it's like he's understanding what's going on. He know what his responsibility is going to be. And my only thing is, I don't think he should start from day one. I think we should keep Geno Smith, um, and then let him learn behind Geno Smith. And if they decide like Geno Smith looked like Geno Smith last year, which I don't think he'll look like that because we were sabotaged by Chip Kelly, and that's why I hate that we didn't go live because you know how Chip
Mm.
Kelly will let y'all know ahead of time, but um so I don't think he could start. I mean, he should start from the beginning like Cam, because Cam, look at how that worked out. But he at least got the experience. But I
Yeah.
don't think I don't want to get my man's hurt. Now, turning the franchise around is a big thing, but now is he a piece that can help turn it around? Yes, we can get him in the draft. We got money. We can address the O line. I don't think our O line is terrible for many reasons, but I don't think we're a whole 5 players away to rebuild the O line. So we just need to rebuild. We need to just get some solid players at O line and then work it from there.
I think you can weaponize the cap space for sure. Like Tyler Linderbaum, like a lot of talk about Harbaugh wanting him at the Giants, but Linderbaum from the Ravens is available. Like he's still a pretty damn good center. And the other thing is, it's not just your quarterback, but also it matters like who you bring in as head coach and who he brings in as OC. And if you marry the coach and the OC with Mendoza and it fits, like that's a hell of a lot better than forcing Gino into a package where you got Pete Carroll, who's just a vibe guy and leaves most of the stuff up to his coordinators. And like you were saying about Chip Kelly, like, I mean, we've seen how Chip Kelly's been in the pros. Uh, not the greatest of results to say the least, in a lot of stops, shall we say. So I just think you're building, and yeah, Mendoza's not, he's not a Peyton Manning. Okay. He's not. He's not he's not Cam Newton. But Cam got to a Super Bowl, but he still turned Carolina around. Now Cam was also a super freak of an athlete. And Mendoza's not that, but Cam had help. Cam had Steve Smith, he had a base, Christian McCaffrey. Like they built to be that Super Bowl contender. It wasn't just he turned around and in his rookie year, he went rookie of the year, MVP, did everything all at once. That's not how it works. So if you're setting the bar at turning the franchise around, I mean, you won't know until you got to throw the dice in there sometime. You know, you got to pick a dude sometime, and you literally have the pick of the litter. I'd rather be in the Raiders spot than say picking 15th or 16th in the draft when literally you have in this draft right now, depending on Chambliss, the kid from Ole Miss, depending on how his court case and stuff goes, you literally only have one guy that's going to be having a first round grade coming out. And you have to, and you are the only ones that get him. Whereas if you're a quarterback needy team and you're at 15 or 16, you're not going to reach for a quarterback. You just look somewhere else and you just put off quarterback. I know I've been around that for how many years. We took a stupid stab at Kenny Pickett and we got fooled by that. I mean, but right now we've got Will Howard, but he's a third round pick. So we didn't invest anything big into him, but you at least have something in the background. Whereas with the Raiders, you have Geno. I mean, I don't know what the cap implications would be if you made him like a post-June 1st cut. But I mean, you guys have plenty of, like you were saying, you have plenty of cap room. It's just how are you going to weaponize it? And that's what you really got to do. You got to weaponize that cap space, and yeah.
I couldn't have said that better. This comment right here really right here said we do have hella holes, but we have been getting good players, running back, tight end, now quarterback. We just need to and keep building. One day we'll be a playoff team. But we have work to do. Raider Nation, what's that say, Jason?
I can't see. My screen is very small, so I can't. Yeah. I can't help you out there. Sorry about that,
brother. Thanks for hacking in. Hey, you're absolutely right, and you're not the typical Raider fan right now, and you got the game right now. What's up with cool Kev? Go ahead, bro.
The thing I would preach to Raider Nation as someone not in Raider Nation is whoever you got to give. I know it's a bad look because droughts and everything like that, they get talked about ad nauseum. But with Brady apparently heading a lot of this, but if you read what the reports say, and Brady is really like getting involved this year and way more involved than he's been previously, you got to wait this out, see who the new coach is. You got to You got to really see what you have in front of you, and then you just have to let it happen naturally. And whether that is a year or two of pain, that's not. I'm not taking jabs here, but that's not anything you're not used to already. So if I told you you have to go through another year or two of pain, but on the backside of that, you're competing for the AFC West for the next, I'll just say 4 to 7 years. Are you taking that? Would you sacrifice a year or two to compete the following 4 to 7 years after that? Because that's basically 8, 9 years of a quarterback's career, the first 8 or 9 years of a quarterback's career right there.
I, I don't think the quarterback class is going to be better next year. You know what I'm saying? So really, Mendoza showed me what I needed to see because I don't think I'm going to get more out of a quarterback that I've seen.
There's a
because
two quarterbacks in your neck of the woods to look out for. One at Cal right now, Berkeley, and the USC quarterback, Jaden Mayava, and I can never Sagapolotele at Cal. If they come out next year and declare for the 27 draft with Dante Moore, and who knows about other quarterbacks like Arch and all these other names, I'm not even worried about them. Just those guys alone, and potentially Julian Sayin from Ohio State. I think that draft class is better in terms of like as a whole, and you may have more that you could potentially pick from. But do you really see yourself passing Mendoza here to either trade down, or let's just say you do what nobody thinks and you pick somebody else at number 1, like you go for one of the 2 stud tackles, or you take Caleb Downs or Reuben Bain, insert whomever. Do you really project that you're going to have the pick of the litter at quarterback next year, and that somebody that's not going to be as quarterback needy or more quarterback needy than you because you decided to ride it out with Geno or whatever and not pick Mendoza? Like, there's a lot. You have to take advantage of when you have it in front of you. It's in front of you now. Make the move now.
So I guess that answered my question. I'm about to say, but in your opinion, with that information, would you draft back? I mean, would you trade back?
The only way I trade back is for something that is like absurd value, like what I believe. I'm trying to remember the exact trade details, but like when Houston traded up, when they were picking second, and then they traded up to 3, but they gave away their mid-teens pick in that draft because they had multiple picks, but they wanted to draft. They ended up getting the second and third pick. They gave away like 2 firsts and a second. Like that would be like the starting point to move up to 1. It might be 3 firsts. Like you have to do like the price would be extremely high. You either take if someone and it's all about somebody. Does somebody come up to meet your price or not? Now, if you end up trading that for a first round, like you move back in this draft and you get only 1 additional first round pick or something, then I think that's horrible asset management. And I think you should have just stuck and just rode with Mendoza. But it's all about what the value you get out of that pick. I think you set the price at 3 first, and if someone's feeling froggy, they'll jump. If not, you go to the podium and make your pick. Make the pick. Don't overcomplicate it.
I don't think they're going to get a offer that enticing.
If it's not an offer that blows you out of the water that you cannot pass up, then you absolutely go up and you make the number 1 pick. You announce here in front of me and hundreds of thousands of my near and dear NFL friends that'll be coming and annoying the hell out of me in my city at the end of April. You announce Mendoza as the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I agree with you right here. Right, I agree with you right there. 3 upgrades at O line, at least 2 at another running back to help Jenny and another speedy wide receiver. That's exactly what we need right there. Everybody seem to think that we need all these linemen. I think I'm telling you, we need like for sure 2 good linemen. We already got linemen we don't even know about that we drafted last
Mhm.
year, and we got one that really got a little burn at the end of the season. So
I think
we do need like 2 to 3 running backs.
if all right, I'm gonna throw something crazy out here, a
But I
wish list,
gotta,
if you will.
bro, I gotta go. I gotta go unlock my front door. Just take over for a second. But go ahead.
You're good. All right, so I'll put this out here, and I'll repeat for Black when he comes back. I think Linderbaum should be the guy the Raiders should look at if you want to pick up a piece on the O line in free agency. And now this is a huge if the Cowboys cannot franchise Pickens, if I'm the Cowboys, if I'm the Raiders, you need a dude like that. Like that dude he's the explosive dude that you need behind over top of your solid stud in Bowers. Like that combination would be freaky, and you would be appropriately weaponizing your cap room because you know damn well you dangle that money out there, Pickens is going to take it. Now, is he a bit of a head case? Yeah, but you're dealing with number one wide receivers. Kind of comes with the territory for the most part. Um, the thing that I'm worried about that it seems to not be getting a lot of chatter right now, but it kind of was towards the tail end of the season, is I hope that the Raiders front office is at least able to smooth things over with Max Crosby because the end of that year, like that's a dude that wasn't only pissed, but it looked like he had reached his boiling point and wouldn't be necessarily opposed to getting out of there, which would be a total change from how he's been previous. But the way he was done towards the tail end of the year was that would leave a sour taste in the mouth because you know that dude just wants to play. Um, so I kind of wonder about that low key, like if things are getting smoothed over on that end, or if not, that needs to because he's an absolute anchor on the defense. Um, I'm trying to think of who else would be available defensively in free agencies. I don't have the list in front of me, so I can't really think of like studs that are going to be obviously available. Like granted, Pickens might not be available, and you could even get a guy like Brandon Ayuk for cheap if the Niners end up releasing him. So I mean, those are dudes that you can definitely think about. Um, and I would maybe even think about in the second round pairing a wide receiver pick with at 33 because I think they picked 33, right? If I'm not mistaken. Somebody in the chat can let me know. It should be first and 33rd. I mean, there's going to be some really good stud wide receivers available in the second round this year. It's not going to be the wide receiver heavy draft that next year is going to be, but there's plenty of really good dudes um, this year. So there's a lot that can be done, and it's like there's worse situations to be in than what the Raiders are in. There really is. Like, um, I wouldn't want to be in Cleveland's situation where you have head coaches, the candidates and stuff just saying, no thanks. I'm not even going to interview. I'm declining that. Um, you don't know what you're doing at quarterback because you've got two guys that you invested picks in last year, one of which was clearly the owner's pick. And so you're a new coach coming in and you're not sure what you got at quarterback. Whereas if you're a new coach going to the Raiders, you got cap space. You can pretty much go, no, let me work with Mendoza. Let me do that. There's some wiggle room there. So there are worse situations to be in than the Raiders. But I would wonder, would you go and maybe go Linderbaum to get him to help anchor the O line, and then Pickens if he doesn't get franchised by the Cowboys, because you have plenty of cap room to be able to offer him top 5 wide receiver money to get him to come to Vegas.
So I saw the comment about Lamar. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
no on Lamar.
I mean,
No.
if the rumor that I saw was true, that it was that Baltimore would want 3 firsts, like that's like Lamar's mom putting that out there. Like somebody is way too infatuated with Lamar, because think of it. Right now, his cap hit next year is over 70 million. And the Ravens are in cap hell. So they got to go to him and get that restructured. But he's been difficult to deal with because he's his own agent. He's been difficult to deal with in negotiations. And if he's a dude that's got a lot of miles on him, he's taken a lot of hits in the AFC North. And when is the last time he's played 17 games or even 16? These last few years, he's always been getting hurt. And when it comes to right around end of November, December, he's like the everyday dude and he's getting sick. Suddenly he has an illness and he ain't playing due to illness. And it's like, what? So,
See, everybody, I mean, that's almost like if you're looking for a quarterback to try to turn the franchise around, that would be the guy to do it right. But I mean, like, really turning the franchise around for the Raiders is not the same as turning the franchise around for any other team. Maybe Cleveland, maybe, but other than that, like Lamar, like you said, he's not durable. He already has his hands full right now with a team with halfway decent defense. I mean, like that would just be like taking 2 steps back, and I just don't see that happening. I think the smarter thing to do to just go ahead and get Mendoza, work that project out. That's the one thing that a lot of our Raider fans been crying about, that we keep getting these old quarterbacks. It's not Rich Gannon, it's not Jim Plunkett and all that other stuff. So we just need to go in, stop kicking it down the road, get a quarterback, and then just see what happens and get this DeMarcus Russell taste out of our mouths. Pause, I guess.
I was
But
wondering to wait when that name would be brought up. Now, would you go after Pickens if he became a free agent, or would you maybe try like Ayuk if he gets cut by the Niners, or are you thinking like second round pick, maybe use that on a receiver?
no, I don't like Ayuk for one, because he's more like a possession receiver. Like, he's not a force multiplier. Now,
Okay.
we wanted to go out on Pickens. I could see that. You know, he's a number one guy that is caught with another number one guy. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's an issue there. So he does need to have a team of his own. Now, I need to check his temperament, because I don't know a whole lot about his temperament. If he's like going to be like up and down, like, is he going to be good when it's good? He might not be a problem, but is he going to just kind of like do like that Homer Simpson meme, when you go back into the grass and then you just disappear and you forget that he's there, and you're not going to blame him, but at the same time, the reason why we're going to end up probably spending a lot of bread on him if we get him is so that way you could be a leader of men on the field from that position, which is a hard position to do it from, because you usually don't ask that from your wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just think that the Raiders could be that team to really I can't think of who else has the available cap space. I know the Raiders do. That can really go out and make it really difficult, because he knows what's available to him, and he knows that if the Cowboys try to franchise him, they got to make all kinds of different moves to get that money to work. And I think Pickens, as much of a head case as he can be, I think Pickens is a natural fit for what the Raiders are and what they're wanting to get to. I think he grows a bit with them, even though he's already been in the league, what, It's 3 years, 4 years, 3 years. He's been in the league 3
I
years.
was thinking 4. Yeah, dang,
Yeah,
that's not long at all.
right. But he can still, and plus, people, let's not forget, Brock Bowers was his teammate at Georgia. So if anybody's gonna go to the front office and say, "Hey, trust me, go get this guy,"
It'd be Brock, right?
it's your stud guy. Now, the thing that I was asking the chat that I don't know if anybody replied to or not, that I'll ask you now: what is the situation between the front office and Max Crosby? Because the end of the year was like, that was not
Well,
a happy dude.
I don't think it's a problem. See, this is the funny thing. When Max Crosby sat out the end of last year, everybody cried about it because we were already out of contention. He went to go get a surgery to, take care of his injury. Everybody cried about it, talking about he quit on the team and he don't want to be here. Trade him, trade him, trade him. That's what I mean about our fans is they sassy right now. And so then this year we're in the same position, actually even worse. And so we're like, we're going to shut you down, my guy. And Max was like, no, I want to play to the end because he's a play to the end motor guy. So he's supposed to want to play, right? I didn't see it as if he was like getting so mad at the front office. He was like, well, trade me because you wouldn't play me the last 2 games or 3 games or some games that didn't really mean nothing. I think that's the fans making more of a to-do than it is Max Crosby. He's supposed to want to play like that. And we're supposed to look out for the best interest for him because that's who we put all our eggs in the basket for him, right? I don't think we're going to trade him. If we do, that'd be stupid. You don't get rid of DN players like that, and especially not a Max Crosby. He played well this year, and people was crying about him and getting the bag and not playing up to the potential. And he's making all this money, and he did his part. So I just think it was just too, like, the head office protecting him while he wanting to play, and everybody making a bigger deal out of it.
Yeah. I I just think that if you go the route, the teams that you need to like look at in terms of like what you should do. You're gonna hate that I'm gonna say this, but this is different from the previous when we used to joke about this on the show. What the Patriots are doing now, like they took a shot at quarterback and they also kicked the can a little bit. They whiffed on both and they took another shot at quarterback and then they got the head coaching hire right. And now look at them. Like, and they built and they built and it came together. Now, I haven't always been a Drake May guy. Even I have to tip my cap at some point. But the other team that I think, even though they had a down year this year, is you look at the Lions. Now, I don't think that the Raiders are like the Lions where they're a trade away to and getting a stud number 1 pass rusher away like they were, and it all came together. But I think that there's young building pieces there. And again, the thing that you got to get right is the head coach hire. Like, all respect in the world to Pete Carroll, and I know we're going to talk about him here shortly, but for a team that's building, Pete Carroll's like, he's a vibes guy. He comes in and he takes a team that may be on the cusp of the playoffs and he gets them to feel really good about themselves and galvanizes them to get in the playoffs. He's not a dude that takes it from scratch. He was that dude 20, 25 years ago at USC. But where he's at in his life, he's not that dude to tear it down to the studs and patiently build. That's why you got to get this head coaching hire right. Like, that's for me, it's as important as getting the quarterback right. Because if you're off, if that quarterback head coach is off, the results are going to play out. No matter how good the quarterback is, or no matter how good the head coach alone is, shit's going to be off, and you're going to know it, and it's going to be plain as day to see.
I don't think the Raiders got the head coaching job wrong with Pete Carroll, which leads us to the question: did the Raiders do Pete Carroll wrong? Um, I don't think we got the head coaching position wrong. I think we got the offensive coordinator wrong,
Mm,
and it made us look worse than we actually were. Because had we won like 6 games this year, Pete Carroll wouldn't have got fired. 6 games is not a lot. And I'm saying, had
it
we
would have
won
been
6 games,
improvement.
we wouldn't have got rid of Pete Carroll. And we found out in week 9 and week 10 that Chip Kelly over there sabotaging plays and putting in plays that ain't in the all kind of stuff. Now,
Hmm.
at Mendoza, I'm thinking, see, what I'm thinking uh, Chip Kelly was doing, he wanted his own quarterback. He did not want Geno Smith. He
Hmm.
he has a problem with now. If he had Mendoza as a quarterback, I promise you our offense wouldn't have looked like that. Like
Hmm.
I promise you it wouldn't. And I think he would have did better. But do I think the Raiders did Pete Carroll dirty? I must say yes. I think they did him dirty. I can see why they got rid of him, but they shouldn't have got rid of Pete Carroll because Pete Carroll wasn't the issue.
Done dirties. Mm, without knowing, and there's stories out there. I haven't. I'll put my hand up and be like, look, I haven't read everything when it comes to all that inside the Raiders. Um, but if, and this is me spitballing. So I mean, if you're quick to correct me or a chat or whomever, that's perfectly fine. If what little tidbits I have seen are true, and that Brady is a much larger influence now than he was a year and a half ago, I think Brady basically wanted to come in and just do a full white clean and go, we're gonna do this right. Head coach, everything new. Like we're throwing out the furniture. Yeah, we just got this shit on sale last President's Day, but we're throwing out the bed. We're getting a new one. I like that Tempur-Pedic over there. I'm a Tempur-Pedic guy. I think Brady just wanted to. I think Brady went a little diva shopaholic. Like he went in and just went, okay, nope, nope. I'm getting a whole new wardrobe. We're doing a facelift. Like not even wasting time. I just want to go in and do full facelift, surgical and all that.
So Pete Carroll was essentially Mark Davis trying to save the franchise from sinking. But we did a whole rehaul last year, like old coordinator, uh,
Hmm.
head coach, new quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Drafted a running back at you know what I'm saying? That's an
Right, top
overhaul
10.
right
Yep.
there. And I
Right.
think and you can't tell me over a course of 1 year with us getting worse. So I'm gonna say, oh, we're gonna listen to Tom Brady now. I'm thinking we've been listening to Tom Brady the whole time. Now, did he have a little bit more control than he did last year? I don't know. Is it incremental? Is it an incremental amount? Are we going to start blaming? Is Tom Brady responsible for the regime at this point now? Because I'm holding him responsible for last year as well. Because I'm sure he had a lot to do with why we got rid of Antonio Pierce.
I think I read something that he wasn't like according to the little bits that I've read, he's way more involved. Like when they would ask him his thoughts on like Antonio Pierce, he was not in favor of Antonio Pierce, but also he's doing that with him being distracted by not only his Fox gig, but everything else he had going on last year. Which, if I'm here, like from what I've seen this year, he's been way more involved in meetings and who's going. Like he's going out there to the facility and stuff a lot more than he did the year previous. But again, if I'm reading something that's not accurate, I'm relying on you guys. But from what I've read, it seems like he's like 100 times more involved now because I mean, if you have your name attached to something and you look at it from a distance, you're like, all right, I'll let that go. And even when you're doing your other thing, like if you're on the Fox broadcast, but yet you have an eye and you watch that 4 o'clock game and the Raiders are on, and you're watching it and you're going, people are going, well, this fucking idiot owns this team and they look like this. Maybe pay attention to them a bit more. And he's probably sitting there going, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I should. So if the things that I'm reading that he's like super intensely involved and he's like involved in all these interviews, I mean, he definitely showed he was right there in person, like we were talking about earlier at the national championship. He's there standing right alongside Mark Davis, and like he's like they neither of them could hide it. They were there to eye up Mendoza and watch Mendoza. I mean, like I said, Mark Davis looked like he could have dry humped him, but Brady probably went to Davis and said, I like watching quarterbacks up close and impersonal with live fire. I'm not a short and t-shirt kind of guy, because I mean, just look back at his combine for reference. I think Brady may have had influence last year, but it's unquestioned now, is my point. Like, this is like, if this ends up being a flop, you can not only lay this at Mark Davis and same old, but you can absolutely 100% lay this at the feet of Brady as well and just be like, hey, now what?
Yeah. And even going to the national championship game and showing the presence that he did might be a Tom Brady thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that.
Yeah. But doing Pete Carroll dirty, I mean, I love Pete Carroll. Like I said, he's a vibes guy. Loved him at USC. He was perfect for USC. He just fit. Like his style and his mentality, like, totally fit. And in a way, you would think that would fit Las Vegas. But at this stage, I think even he knew, if you gave him a dose of truth serum, I think at most he would have told you he could have seen himself coaching there 2, maybe 3 years. So
I wasn't expecting him to coach no more than 3 years. Like, only if we're competitive in that second year. Like this next year, if he'd have stayed, he would have definitely had to win like 8 or 9 games. And then to give him that, okay, we're right there, guys. And then, kind of play it that way. But it's obvious that that's not going to be what happened. We're really in a rebuild again. And I guess it's cool that we kind of ripped the Band-Aid already instead of just letting it play out a couple more years, because we did get rid of AP quickly too. So we're searching to make the move. Like you said, this coaching hire is going to be very important for the Raiders. We're going to talk about who we think we should get coaching hiring, but with Pete Carroll coming in, and was supposed to make a change in our, at least in our culture. Was this the worst Raiders season ever? Because I heard you say that we're not as bad as people think we are, and I'm gonna agree with you. But do you think this is the worst Raiders season ever from where you stand?
no, because I remember seasons like both before and when you drafted Joe. I was gonna say, I was waiting to see when we would invoke the name Jamarcus Russell. I mean, there have been absolute gong shows and dumpster fire seasons. How would I label this? It was about, look, there's no two ways about it. When you end up with the first overall pick, you get there for a reason, because you had a shitty season. It's a shitty season, but I wouldn't say it's the worst Raider season ever. I mean, just off the top of my head, again, no research that I've really done or anything. I think it is more disappointing, because a lot of expectations after Geno having the couple years that he had in Seattle, and the weapon, not only having Brock Bowers, but also drafting Genty. You sat there and you thought, man, Geno with these guys, like, hey, we're picking up steam here. and then you go and you win on the road in New England, week 1. Like holy shit. Like, was it an ugly game? Sure, but they don't ask you how you win. They just ask how many.
Yeah, for sure. Because all our games we were going to win, they were going to be ugly wins. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because that's how we were built.
I mean, I told you, I don't care as long as the Steelers win my over under wins bets and stuff like that, which we'll get into that a little bit later. But I don't care. I'm not a dude that, I mean, look, for my heart rate, I would love for them to win 42-0 every fucking week and look like the all Madden team. But that's not going to happen. Like, you're going to play ugly games, especially as the weather turns and all this other stuff. The other team gets paid too. That's what I love saying that, especially to my kids. I would say it's disappointing how bad and how ugly it got at certain points of the season and how fast it turned. So I would say more disappointing than worst. But I'm imagining you may have a different opinion since you're asking.
No, I agree with you there. I think there's probably maybe the most disappointing because of the expectations. I didn't have the same expectations that most people had. I was in the frame of mind that I wasn't going to look at the record as much as I was going to look at has our front office turned the corner. Because, like I always say, you win championships from the head office down, not the player up. And then we were starting to make these moves. I thought, in my mind, the way we were looking, I'm like, look, we didn't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We just needed to get a new offensive coordinator and then look at what we had. Because we really couldn't tell what kind of team we had because Brock Bowers was out for a long time.
Yep.
We wouldn't run the ball for God knows what reason. The play calling was atrocious. I mean, like, I don't think we got a real chance to see what we had on the field, and that's why I think we did Pete Carroll kind of dirty in that sense. But I don't think this was the worst Raiders season ever. We definitely had number 1 pick before, so it's arguable that could be the worst season. Like you said, I agree with you that this is probably the most disappointing season. Simple because all the expectations that the fan base put on it, but
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
there
think
was
it was worth
legitimate hype. Like, you had a bit of hype and mixed in with a little bit of hope that, hey, like, you could see these things like, man, this gels and it gels just right. Hey, we could, not saying you're going to be Super Bowl contender, but look, we can, and yeah, we're in arguably the hardest division in the league, but we can at least, we can get our share. We can scrap with them. Like, we can compete. Like, this ain't, you walk in and you beat us by 3 touchdowns every damn time. Like, you're going to be in a fight with us every week, and you know it coming in, and we're young and we're hungry. So there was a lot of hype there. So that's where I think it's more disappointing than anything, as opposed to like the worst. Because there's been a few seasons that I can remember. Just I can't remember specific years or anything, but I know that there's been bigger dumpster fires in Oakland / Raider in the last, like, what, 20-25 years. I'm pretty
Yeah, and
safe
even
in
when
with
Gruden
that.
came in, we only got 4 wins that year. That year was very depressing too. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think it was the worst season ever by the Raiders, but our fan base is crashing out. So, but speaking of crashing out, let me give you a box.
Oh, is it time?
It's that time because
You can do the voiceover real quick, but you go right on ahead, and then I'll go ahead.
and this is the question that I have for you, being as close as you are, and you've been saying this as they've been getting the chance, been getting louder and louder. Did the fans force Mike Tomlin out? And tell me how you feel about the whole Steelers reconstruction.
Okay, I'll start with the Steelers reconstruction, and then I'll get into the real meat and potatoes. But we'll start with the appetizer. I think the Steelers are going to go young coordinator. Here's a hint. Chris Shula of the Rams, and the hope is, and the whispers are that he's going to bring Shieldhaas, who interviewed for the head coaching spot, but he's only the passing game coordinator at the Rams. The hope is to bring him as the OC to pair the two of them. We'll see if that happens, but I highly expect it to be Chris Shula. I think they've gone about this interview process the same way that they went about hiring Bill Cowher, the same way they went about hiring Mike Tomlin. And there's a reason we've only hired 3 head coaches in almost 60 years. Let the young first-time head coach, and you give him, with this franchise, you give him that blanket of stability. Like, you're not coming here. You're not getting fired in 3 years unless you do like Sharon Moore at Michigan type shit, or you do Urban Meyer at Jacksonville type shit. You're not getting fired. You have ownership's blessing, because frankly, the hidden secret is the Rooneys are cheap and they don't want to pay dudes that they still have on contract. They don't want to do that. They don't have the money like a Jerry Jones to just be like, yeah, you're gone. Just I'll pay you just to go away. Just go away. I'm hiring this guy over here. That's not how the Steelers operate. But so I'm encouraged there. And the draft here, all the vibes around that, yeah, whatever. Now, as for Mike T, and yeah, I'm gonna call him Mike T because that you hear all the players say that, and the people that respect and admire what he's done and don't try to belittle it and admonish it. They call him Mike T. I don't know the guy personally, but I'm gonna stick with that instead of calling him Coach Tomlin or whatever. What the portion of this fan base that I hate the fact that I'm even associated with, the nasty, vile, dirty fucking things that they have done in the last 2 years, especially this year, and I'll get into it in a minute, is a fucking joke and an embarrassment. And I wish some of these dudes, like, I'll name one, Kevin Adams, the shit that you've pulled and the shit that you continue to pull and that you spout and you fucking spew with your dirty fucking trash. Fuck you. If I ever fucking see you, allow me to say the famous words, it's on sight. I would love nothing more than to be able to fucking clean your fucking clock. You disrespectful piece of shit fucking human being. I won't even get into the other issues with him. Let's just say he's not a fan of a certain, outside of a certain look that he happens to share with me. I'm not with that shit. And these fucking jagoff yinzers, and I don't use jagoff or yinzer in an endearing way when I'm saying this, these fucking idiot jagoff yinzers that fucking think it's okay. Now look, if you want to go to a game and you want to boo and you want to chant, what the fuck ever, you paid a ticket, good for you. You want to throw away money that way and you want to do that, as long as you ain't doing anything that breaks the fucking law, whatever. I think you're an idiot, but whatever. But when you resort to showing up to a man's house with signs and fucking hanging out outside his driveway, his gated driveway, and you fucking harass any car that goes through, including ones driven by his wife or anybody else that he wants to have over, you're an asshole. And if I was driving one of those cars, I'd have ran you the fuck over. You show up to his wife's work. Here's background to that. She owns a shop. She does clothing design because, of course, a lot of the NFL women, not hating, you do you. She does clothing design. They have a fashion show here in Pittsburgh the week of their bye every year that goes towards like charity stuff. It's a fun little event. She helps run it. She has a store here in a local neighborhood. You go and harass her store, her employees and you fuck with her business. She has nothing to do with the fact that she shares his last name and she's married to the guy. She doesn't call fucking plays. She has nothing to do with the fucking roster. No say whatsoever. She just happens to share a last name and a home with the man. And you go and fuck with her. And then you fuck with his son when he's on a live stream on Twitch. You fucking fill up his chat with hateful, fucking spiteful shit. You are the lowest form of fucking trolls. I wish I could fucking meet each and every one of you and drown you in one of the 3 fucking rivers that are outside my house right now. I would love nothing more than that. You fucking assholes. You crossed a line, and you could tell that this year more than any year, even with better play at quarterback, yeah, the defense wasn't as great as it has been. So that in a way that was a little disappointing. But in a year where Aaron Rodgers said it was fun for him to be around and everything, all that being said, and we won the fucking division. Are you fucking kidding me? This team's over-under win total was 7.5. And all the jokes, oh, Tomlin just goes 9-8. He went 9-8 one fucking year. But you want to make your jokes, make your jokes. You don't know what the definition of mediocre is. The Steelers have not been mediocre. They've been average in some years. I'm not going to deny that. But you fucks that literally drive this man to the point of no fucking return because of the shit you did, not to him. He's well-versed and experienced enough. He's been with this team 18 seasons previous. Won a Super Bowl and took you to another, by the way. Yeah, oh, when's the last time you won a playoff game? When's the last time you fucking won a playoff game? You probably sat the fucking bench in high school. Who the fuck are you kidding? But you drove that man to look so fucking exhausted over the last year and a half that when he announces he steps down, you don't even have the decency to go, hey, thanks for all you've done and all that. No, you go to social media and you get, and then we end up having fucking callers on this stupid fucking radio station here. ESPN plays them and they're talking about, oh, it's the greatest day in years for the Steelers. And everybody nationwide is calling you fucking idiots. And people across this nation think you represent me. Fuck you. And going on social media and doing your little thing while you're driving, which by the way is illegal as fuck. But you sitting there, Kevin Adams, we did it. Like the vitriol I have for that 5%, 5 to 10% of loud, obnoxious, idiot fucking yinzers is to the point now where, oh, it makes me, I'm always going to want the Steelers to win. That's the fan in me. But part of me, there is a small section of me that also hopes that they have to suffer like 3-14, 4-13 years, because they'll be the same fucking idiots that are calling for that coach to be fired. And, oh, they fucking suck. Yeah, that's real mediocrity now, asshole. Ain't so great now, is it? You would think with how this fucking franchise, with how this city has had to deal with the Pirates for the better part of 30 years, that they would understand what real mediocrity is and how blessed we have been, not only in football, but also in hockey. We've literally had arguably one of the top 3 players in the world for the better part of 30, 35, 40 years almost now. You would think that seeing the Pirates and how they are, you would understand true mediocrity, but not these fucking idiots who think it's their God-given birthright to go fucking 13-4 and every fucking year. Not even the Patriots fucking do that shit. Have they had some gifts this year? Easiest schedule and all the other shit to their playoff path? Sure. And are they annoying? Fuck yeah. But they also went through the tough times and they've come out the other side. Like, they knew it was time with Belichick, but they were respectful about it. for the most part. They had some beef and the Patriots did some underhanded shit after he left. But it wasn't during. I didn't hear fire Belichick or do this or do that. Like it's different. And how they handled all this shit with Tomlin. I know we're going to show the picture in a minute, but you want to know how, like, if we were able to show, like, what he looked like at the end of the game Monday night against Houston, leaving that stadium, I was messaging with John. Sorry you're not here tonight, bud, but I was messaging him walking out of the stadium and talking about the idiots that were chanting and stuff and how I was rolling my eyes and, like, they just, what the fuck ever. Let them do whatever. They want to look like idiots. But also, it's undeniable that when you watch that game back, look at Tomlin on the side. Look at the post-game press conference. He looks like he hasn't had a decent amount of he hasn't had a decent sleep in the 19 years he's been the head coach here. That is him less than a week after walking away. That man looked like he got a couple days worth of 8 hours and he's a new fucking dude. And look what he's doing. He's going and supporting his daughter at the University of Georgia, where she's on a gymnastics scholarship. Like, being a dad, and he's able to chill now, and he don't have to deal with you fucks and your stupid fucking noise. And good for him for walking away and saying, you know what? Like, he didn't even wait a full day. He said, I'm gonna do right by me and by the franchise. But you fucks can't see that because you think it's some victory of yours to fucking celebrate. Fuck you so very fucking much. I hope there is a special place in hell for you fucking jagoffs that you have to watch every fucking game of the Steelers from 1933 to 1968 on repeat. And you get to experience none of the fucking glory days. Because fuck you.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel. So now, you know, they make great hires, long-term hires, and I can see why they got rid of him. I mean,
No, he stepped. Mr. Rooney made it perfectly clear, and they made it clear by retaining his rights. They were expecting to go into next year. They were going to talk because they had an option for the following year for 28. But they were going to go into 26, 27 with him. And for 27, 28, they were going to discuss that with him, but they didn't have to do anything until April or May. Like, they didn't even have to have discussions until then with him. They were fully expecting that meeting Tuesday morning to be like, okay, let's start setting up what we're going to do for the draft and our plans going forward. And he goes in and says, nope, I'm not even going to waste time. Not going to give it a week or anything. I'm stepping back. Wait, I couldn't. I can't. I literally can't read the comments, bud. So I don't know what he said. What did that say?
It said that was aggressive, good sir. LOL.
I wish you guys, like, have your thoughts about Pittsburgh that you will, about the city and all that stuff. That's fine. I wish some of you, like, if you guys are, I know you're a Raider fan. I don't know if the chatter's a Raider fan or anything. I wish you could fucking hear how idiotic some of these fucking people are around here. And the fact that I have to associate with them is the most irritating fucking thing. It's why I don't listen to local sports radio, because it's chock full of idiots. I can't, you would be flummoxed. Like, it's not New York or Philadelphia hilarious. Like, these motherfuckers are drop dead stupid. They don't, I pretty much said most of my piece. It's a lot, it's a lot less aggressive than it was, say, the Tuesday when it happened and the Wednesday and Thursday following his stepping down. But it's still, I've been saving this. I've been pent up about this because these motherfuckers have really just, like, I share a fucking fandom with them. Like, that's how I'm associated with these assholes. And they're the ones that get, like, on ESPN playing the radio shit. And it's like people pointing and go, look at all these idiot Steeler fans. Oh, you're a Steeler fan. You must be an idiot. Well, no, I'm a guy with a fucking head on my shoulders and a brain and eyes that work for myself, but these fucking idiots, takes one rotten apple to spoil the bunch kind of thing. That's what these fuckers are.
Yeah, I think they kind of forced him out. It's just the chance of getting louder and louder. They got tired of that first round loss. It's definitely rare air when you get fired when you win the division, and you
Well,
win the
I
division, but you just can't get over that hump. I
it's
don't
not the
know.
chance. Like I think the players, I think when you see the players in their interviews and stuff the last couple of weeks of the season, and then after Tomlin announced, um, the players were more pissed off at that going on in the stadium. But also, I think the players also knew what was going on, that they didn't really want to talk about all the other stuff, like the social media thing that came out. And then knowing that his wife and his son are being bothered, and his private home is being basically fucking put on out there to be broadcast to everybody. And people think it's fucking funny, and it's not. Like, that's a real dude with a real fucking family, you indecent fucks. Like, I think that's the part where it changed. Like, this shit didn't happen up until you started last year after the Ravens playoff loss. They put up that Kevin Adams put up that stupid fucking billboard to say fire Ty Rooney, fire Tomlin, or sell the team. Like, either of that's gonna fucking happen. Like, he's never gonna fire him with 2 years left on a deal, and Rooney's absolutely not selling the team. He's just not. Like, that's asinine. But you think you're fancy with your big fucking billboard that you and the people that donate $1 to you on your stupid fucking podcast, with your racist fucking rhetoric on there. You think you've won when you do that shit. And then you step it up and you put out the bullshit on social media about that man and what he's got going on in his private life. And then you sit there and you sit there and say, "Oh, I never told them to go do it." You didn't tell these idiots that listen to you not to. And then it's funny how after the Cleveland game, the Buffalo game, when we lost, and all the chants started, and then they show up outside the house and everything. Suddenly, Kevin Adams goes dark for a month, and the Steelers win. But he's dark. You don't hear a fucking peep out of him. Then they go up to Cleveland and lose, and suddenly Kevin Adams is back on fucking Twitter. And then he said at that time, "Oh, the reason why I went dark for that month is my family was being threatened." You have a lot of fucking nerve to fucking go on and try to get boo-hoos about your fucking family when you thought that shit was funny when it was happening to fucking Mike Tomlin. You piece of fucking excrement.
So now that he's gone, and they're not, they're historically known to only have like three coaches, right? So they
Since
usually make great
1969.
coaching
Yep.
hires. Who do you think they're going to hire this time around?
I think it's going to be Chris Shula. He's been hit. It's him and Shieldhouse, also from the Rams. The two of them have, from what everything around here has said, they have both impressed the living daylights out of the Rooneys and out of Omar Khan, the GM. I think in a perfect world, if the Steelers could have it, that the Steelers get Shula to because it would be a promotion for him to go from a D coordinator to head coach, and then be able to get Shieldhouse to go from passing game coordinator to OC, because they would be able to bring him over and not have to seek permission because it's a promotion, and let Shieldhouse go for more interviews next year or in 2 years or whatever, because he's a very young, viable candidate. But I think it's going to be Shula for the Steelers. I have no idea who the fuck Buffalo and Cleveland are gonna hire, or Arizona for that matter. But I think it's going to be Shula. I think in the next week or two he's going to be named the Steelers head coach.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. And as far as the Raiders, I don't know. I'm hearing Kubiak. I like Kubiak because he's the creative play caller.
Hmm.
I think we need a fresh, young play calling because it seems like our play calling is like college while everybody else NFL.
Hmm.
And I think he could bring that to our team. Now, does that translate to head coach? Because head coach don't mean offensive coordinator. So we still got
Hmm.
to hire an offensive coordinator. So I don't know, but that's what everybody seems to think that's who we're going to get. I don't know. The jury's out for me. I don't really see anybody that make me say, "Hey, that is the guy that we need." So I can see how Kubiak would be cool.
I like Kubiak.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
No, I think you could do far worse than Kubiak. I think Kubiak is because especially with what we were talking about earlier with Mendoza, he's a younger play caller, and he could sit there and be like, okay, I get my guy at number one, like, and then I can work like the two of us. We're joined at the hip. We're coming at this the same time into this organization fresh. Hit the ground. Let's just try to hit the ground running, kind of thing. And you let him develop him and get him that little bit of season and marinate and everything. Um, I I don't mind Kubiak. You could do a lot worse. Like I I honestly think me personally, I know Cam Newton thinks it's hiring Stefanski is wrong in Atlanta or whatever because of the culture. He wants to talk about all that down there. I I think Stefanski will be just fine down there, and I think Bijan will like him a lot. Um, I just think that has more to do with Cam's infatuation with Shador. But I think I honestly think the Giants kind of jumped the gun hiring Harbaugh as quick as they did.
Well, Harbaugh got what he wanted out of it,
Yeah.
and
Oh, he
so
got. Mm,
he got what he wanted. And we're gonna go over we're gonna grade each of the hires in a few seconds.
hmm
But I wanted to ask you before we got too far from it, um, what are the chances of Tomlin coming up? And I'm gonna play this clip because uh, I know Tomlin would work for us, but I don't know too many teams he wouldn't work for. But let's
I'll.
look at this clip here, and this says a lot about Coach Tomlin.
Mm,
Locker rooms, they just need somebody to walk in, and when he walk in, you know, I'm
Hold
him.
on.
All that jogging in practice, nah, it's no longer that. They will jump your ass. In certain locker rooms, they just need somebody to walk in, and when he walk in, you know, I'm him. All that jogging in practice, nah, it's no longer that. They will jump your ass. And don't give a what the coach say.
Yeah.
You gonna do what? We beating your ass. What are you gonna do? Because the majority of them are good players. So you going to fall in line and do this as a team? Or we going to beat your ass? Like, and I've been on teams where they have literally been, like, the head coach had to, like, nah.
Dang.
And we, like, yeah.
And turning up on the head coach like that?
No, not
Oh, no,
on
no.
the head coach is stopping it. Like, nah. Other position coaches. Because we had position coaches that played when I was assistant. Like, bro, they will jump you. You got a D and two linebackers and a D tackle. You getting your ass beat. I believe there's a place for Mike Tomlin if he wants to do this.
I remember I've told people that, like with the Christian Wilkinson situation, that players handle things on the field like they will whoop your ass for real. Like
hmm
whether it's in the season, preseason, especially in the preseason though, in camp, you don't really get your
Yeah.
ass handed to you in camp. And
I think that's an underrated part about Tomlin. Like I joked with some people in the days following him stepping down. He could literally be a New York Times best-selling author based on the amount of shit that went on in the facility. It's on the South Side and in the locker rooms and everything. The shit that he kept under wraps Like, you think about it. He dealt with crazy ass dudes like Martavis Bryant, AB. He had James Harrison. He had the Ben Roethlisberger rape allegations and all that stuff he had to deal with. Le'Veon Bell, and then the tragedy with Ryan Shazier, like what happened there. Endless amounts of fights, squabble, and I mean, you could literally write a bestseller based on the 19 years he spent at that damn facility. Like, it's crazy. But here's the problem. Everybody wants to go, oh, Tomlin should go to Baltimore, really stick it to him. Oh, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I think about reaching out to Mike Tomlin. There's one little problem. And this is from like NFL insiders saying this shit too. He's not a free agent. He stepped down. The Steelers chose to retain his rights, which means anybody in this coaching cycle, like Buffalo, where he'd be a great fit with Josh Allen, he'd want to go there. That's great. And I want $1 million. And I want to win the Powerball tomorrow night. Ain't happening, because you're not giving up the draft capital that the Steelers are going to want. Unless you think you will, which, let's put it this way. If I'm Buffalo, 2 first-round picks for Tomlin, if you think you're that close with Josh Allen, maybe. But you ain't getting him for free. You're not just going to call and say, hey, Mike, hey, Terry Pagula here. Yeah, I'm an asshole owner, and I couldn't tell my head from my ass, in press conferences and stuff. But what do you? And I'm a terrible hockey owner. The only thing I get right is I put my name on stuff at Penn State and just throw money at that, and that's all great. I let them take care of that. But outside of that, I'm an idiot fucking owner with a daughter that plays decent tennis. But what do you think about coming and coaching Josh? If I'm Tomlin, I'd have already hung up the phone. Personally, as great as it would be to coach Josh Allen, fuck no. No,
Yeah,
not interested.
that might be a gamble on the dice for Buffalo if you feel like you're right there, because the whole reason why you fire your coach is because you don't want to lose the momentum and fall back into, mediocrity. What's up to Macho Man Randy Average is back? What up, gang? What up? I'm glad that you in here. That's my boy, the best name on the internet. I promise you.
God damn it.
Look at Josh.
Couldn't go one show, just one. We were almost there too.
He said we was almost there. Hey, so Mike Tomlin gonna come with a price, and if there's any team, and I will agree with you that if they were gonna, say forget it, I'll give you 2 first rounds, then that would be it. Now let's go over the coaching hires
and also,
that we know of.
If I may point out real quick, Black. If you think it's no coincidence that Bill Cowher showed up here for the Hall of Honor stuff that they did the Monday night game against Miami, and he's been talking to Tomlin. But if you think it's no coincidence that Cowher had an extended conversation with Tomlin off to the side, and if you're Cowher, you tell him, look, the time I got to spend with my family once I left here, the level of comfort I got, and the cushy TV gig I got, yeah, it's really nice on the other side, bud. You should try it. And don't be surprised if Tomlin ends up at ESPN or Fox and he takes over for Terry Bradshaw, which would be fucking hilarious. But if he ends up, those two are going to end up in a bidding war for him, and he sees how less stressful it is, there's no guarantee he's coming back. Because Jay Glazer, who admittedly, Jay Glazer sometimes can be a bit of a buffoon, but he legitimately is really tight with Tomlin. He's convinced Tomlin ain't coming back. He said it. He's not coming back, which is another reason why I think he's going to end up at Fox, because he's boys with Glazer. But ESPN can throw that Mickey Mouse money at him.
He said, not the Mickey Mouse money, Hey, Macho Man said, I see Josh still sipping on that haterade, but you left the turtleneck back in 2025, he see.
Again with the turtleneck stuff. You wish you could pull off a turtleneck like I can.
Hello. Hello. Okay, let's go with the coaching hires that we know. The Atlanta Falcons, Kevin Stefanski. What grade do you give the Falcons for that?
B. For the weapons and the personnel that they have, I don't mind that. I think this could look the Falcons, depending on where they go at quarterback, whether it be Penix or maybe old man Kirk Cousins, you don't know. But like at its best, when Stefanski had a suitable offense there with Baker and Chubb and Odell Beckham and Njoku and a couple of them, even though I'm heavily against Cleveland and shit, that was when their offense looked the most competent and ran his system the best. And they have that down there. They have Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. They're doing all, and the last year's draft, they hit a home run with their pass rush. So they're building on defense. I think Stefanski ended up outside of Buffalo, because I mean, how could he know that Buffalo was going to come open? I think Stefanski ended up in the best place for him, would have been Atlanta. Like Atlanta would be the job that if I were looking, and especially if whether I'm a retread head coach or a first time head coach, the Steelers are its own thing because that's job security. You know you're good for 10 years there. I can make a little bit less money, but I could do it over 10 years, and I don't got to worry about uprooting my wife and kids inside of 2 or 3 years because I have one bad year. Outside of that, with that job security, if I'm looking at all the other teams, Baltimore's nice, but you're going in there with crazy expectations, and you know you're second in power behind Lamar. Like you're going in there, and that's Lamar's team. Same kind of thing with Buffalo. You know that's Josh Allen's team. You look at Atlanta and all the pieces they have there, that's not Michael Penix's team. It's not Bijan Robinson's team. Like you're not going in there with having to deal with maybe a little bit of a headache. So that's why I think that Stefanski really ended up at the best job for him. Now, could Atlanta have waited? Sure, but I think they did fine. I honestly thought that Stefanski and Harbaugh were basically going to be at each other's throats trying to get that job. I thought that would be the most sought after job, but I think Atlanta did all right. So I'm going to give that a solid B.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. I give it a B as well. Stefanski can coach. He just got caught up in this bad situation, which is named Cleveland, the Browns, and then the quarterback situation. They just muffed that all the way around. I mean, it's kind of hard to it's hard to even matriculate in that kind of environment. And this gives him a fresh start to kind of get back to the way he was. He was like coach of the year, well, I think like twice or something
He won
like
it
that.
twice. Yes, he won
Yeah,
it twice.
and so now, he does still have a quarterback quandary, but he got all the experience he needed last year dealing with that. And it's not like Penix is the clear guy that should be there. And you like that, he on the books. So he like, you know what? I got a new coach. This new coach gonna want to start with it off on his best foot. And if I can outplay Penix, which I'm sure he think he can, he's gonna be starting again there. And they might have a resurgence. So I give it a solid B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jesse Minter with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they hit a home run with that one. I think they really hit a home run with that one.
I honestly thought when they came open, the name that I had, I thought Minter was second. If I were to create the board for who I thought would Baltimore, I thought that was a slam dunk for them to hire Brian Flores. So in that case, yeah, they got the number 2 guy on the board, but it's not like Flores went somewhere else and they didn't get a chance to interview him or anything. Like they had him right there. So I'm going to put my Baltimore bias aside. I'll give the hire an A minus. I don't think it's this. I think Flores was a slam dunk hire, but outside of not getting him for whatever reason, I think Minter was the next best. So in that regard, I have to give him at worst an A minus. So that's where
Yeah, I
I'm going
think
with
they
that.
needed to definitely address the defense side of the ball if they're going to hang their hat on Lamar Jackson because the consensus is it's not Lamar, you know. So what more do they need? The defense. I think that because you really can't do much more than Lamar, Zay Flowers, maybe get another wide receiver, but they got the
Which
running back too. Like, come on, you got to
I mean,
address the defensive side of the ball.
you've got a couple of good pieces there in Roquan and Kyle Hamilton, but you're also being hamstrung right now because Baltimore is literally in cap hell. So you have to get Lamar restructured. And then even after you do that, your cap situation is super tight. You you have to really you this upcoming draft, I think, is really big for Baltimore in terms of they've got to hit a few defensive studs because especially on the outside at corner, they're getting like Marlon Humphrey's not coming back. I don't think they're gonna even want him back. But they were terrible at corner. Um, they could get run on. Roquan can't do it all. So them having to rebuild on the fly is going to be a bit of a challenge. And that's where I thought maybe Flores, that's why I thought maybe Flores was the better hire with his system. Wherever he's gone, it's immediately been a turnaround. So you can afford to retool on the fly more under his system than Minter's. But I don't mind the hire. Again, full credit to the Ravens.
So do you think the Ravens take a step forward or a step back next year? Just we don't have a whole lot of information, but just what would you
Yeah.
think?
Without seeing how they go with the roster, because even though they were being hyped as one of the best rosters coming into the year, you could tell by week 6, week 7, it's that Lamar and Kyle Hamilton were really propping up that roster a lot more than you may have thought back in July or August. Um, I can't believe I'm saying this. Zach Taylor is the longest tenured head coach in the North, and frankly, I would have fired him. But the Browns are cheap. I mean the Brown family. The Cleveland Browns, whatever. But I think if Burrow's healthy, Cincinnati could very well be a problem next year again. But that's a question because you never know if Burrow's going to be healthy. Same thing with Lamar. It's contingent on it. It literally is contingent upon Lamar's health and Kyle Hamilton's health. Because just look at the Steeler game in the last week of the year. The difference in that defense when Kyle was in versus when he went out was night and day. Like it was night and day. And so those guys being your stalwarts, I don't think Baltimore's going to be a Super Bowl contender like they were the Super Bowl favorites coming into the year. I don't think they're going to be that. I think they're going to have decent odds to win the division, perhaps. I think them and Cincinnati will probably be the co-favorites, and everyone will discount the Steelers again, which I'm fine with. But I guess a slight step forward because, they missed the playoffs and they didn't win the division. So if you're going to put them in as a division favorite or a division contender, then
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how it essentially I'm asking. So do they get back to winning the division? Okay, so let's go with Miami. Now look, they got they lose McDaniels. And
Which
what it looked like Tua is probably on his way out. The cheetah got caught finally, so he got in the trap. Got his leg trapped. So they got a lot of issues there. So who they get? Jeff Halfley.
Yeah, they got Halfley. He used to be the head coach at Boston College. Then he left Boston
So
College to be the D coordinator at the Packers.
so he got his hands full. What do you give that hire?
C,
Yeah,
C,
me too.
maybe,
Middle of the
maybe,
road.
maybe, maybe, maybe even a D, because I've seen Halfley at Boston College. He's not gonna. I mean, I've seen him struggle at Boston College with rosters that in the ACC that aren't as good as your usual ACC contenders, and he wasn't very good. And Miami's roster is not very good, and they're on the hook with Tua to where either they absorb a crazy cap hit this year and cut him, or you just endure another year to just kind of make it easier to cut him next year. Um, I thought Harbaugh was the fit down there. I thought Harbaugh would make the most sense there because he could go in there like he's obviously rebuilt the Ravens uh, twice in his tenure when he was at Baltimore. I thought he made the most sense for down in Miami, but uh, yeah, nope. I'm not very inspired by Halfley. I gotta say, not.
Yeah, I give that a C as well because uh like you said, the roster is not much to work with. It's not like he's proven that he can really make noise like that. So his expectation level might not be that high, but at the
Mhm,
same time, I just give it a middle of the road um, grade there.
mhm.
So I'm not really, I'm not either off of the. I'm not really like it's good or bad, but we'll see. But what I know, it is a good hire for the New York Giants. Harbaugh. What do you think? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I was surprised he went there. I didn't know where he was going to go. I thought maybe he he probably would have wanted the Buffalo job. You know,
Well, I don't think. I mean, obviously, you can't know when they're going through the process. You can't expect a spot to suddenly come open in the divisional round.
right,
Um,
right.
after the divisional round, I just think like for him, I mean, the Giants low key have some real nice pieces. Like their entire D line is sick. Um, I don't mind Jackson Dart, and you're gonna have Malik Neighbors coming off his injury. Um, and hopefully Scattaboo is able to be healthy and everything. So there are pieces there. I just thought for John's sake that he would kind of go to a less noisy market and a less noisy division. And instead, he chose the noisiest market
Right,
and arguably the noisiest division. Like, not in terms of just being tough, just overall noise. Like Philadelphia, Washington, and Dallas. And you
right,
got to deal with that nonsense twice a year. Like, did you not learn your lesson in having to deal with Pittsburgh twice a year? Now you get it from three sides.
right.
I,
I
I
think the Giants really won. Me personally, I think the Giants really won in this situation because they have this kind of pedigree that they want to have this uh kind of like military or OG or a father like Tom Coughlin
yeah,
is type. Uh, they want that Parcells like
right.
so it kind of fits
I
their
mean, if you
pedigree to try to get back to that because they feel like they actually have pieces and they actually feel like that they're a better team now than they've been in the past, which I would agree. But
which
I think they're just
if
trying to
you
find some stability at head coach.
fair, but if you wanted a hard ass, then the hire was Flores. Like Flores is the hard ass of all hard asses. Harbaugh is more of a steady CEO, but also there's been some worrying trends with Harbaugh that I don't just put it just at the players. Like he's made some brutal decisions in like fourth quarters. His game management, like for as young of a team as the Giants are, I like he's the big name. Like he outside of Tomlin, he's the big splash. He's the name, so the glitz is there. So that matches New York. But if they really wanted a hard ass in the style of Parcells, which Belichick came from the Parcells tree, Flores came from Belichick's tree, and and Coughlin, because the way that apparently Flores ran shit down in Miami when he was down there was very Coughlin-esque. On name alone, they deserve a bit of credit, and I do like the pieces they have there. So he probably saw that and jumped at that opportunity. But also, that's a C for me, B minus. I'll bump it to a B minus because they got the big fish in the pond. So you get a little bit of extra credit for that. But if I was in the Mara's shoes, and especially their GM, like as the GM, like as for as much shit as he's endured, you need to get this motherfucker right. And if you throw a lot of money at Harbaugh and this blows up in your face, well, you're not going to be there to see the end of Harbaugh's tenure. You're going to be gone before he is. I would have personally loved. Flores would have been the A+ hire for them. But they get the big name. They get the name, which in New York, name matters. So I'll give it a B minus. I'll be nice. I'll grade it on a curve.
I'll give it a B. I don't think it's as good as they think it is, but it looks good on paper. You know, it kind of.
I honestly like the pieces they have there more so than the coaching hire itself. Like
right. I think the next team, like the coach for the next team that we're going to talk about, I think that might have been like a solid type team for me personally if it wasn't going to be Flores. So I don't know, but I'll give it a B. The Titans pick up the 49ers defensive coordinator. So the Titans, you don't expect much out of them. They got the number 1 pick, and we barely even talked about, or it was very little talked about Cam Ward and even the team in general. And I don't know. I don't know. They just kind of like they're in the desert, just tumbleweed. So this gives Salah a chance to get back as a head coach. Because once you lose your head coaching gig, sometimes it takes a little while before you get another one if you don't get it immediately. And then you end up going to coordinator. And I think he see that the 49ers is kind of like, I'm telling y'all, the 49ers is like, they good, but it's kind of like empty calories. They're like French fries, they're like, you can like McDonald's fries. They're good, but they're empty calories. And the Niners are like that. And he got out of there. So
right,
I
but you know
think
what
he
else
just
they are?
used him for what he needed him for, and he got him another head coaching gig with a lot less pressure.
Right. You know what they are, though? I'm dead ass serious what the Niners are. They are a coaching and quarterback rehab. That's what they basically are. Like, you go there, you take a year or two under Shanahan, and then you become a hot commodity again. Or if you're a quarterback, you go there, look at Sam Darnold. Look at who's going to be a free agent this year that a lot of people that isn't being talked about enough, but it'll pick up here in about a month when free agency opens. Mac Jones. Like, Shanahan made Mac Jones fucking viable. So that's where coaches and quarterbacks go to rehab. Like, they disappear. They go to the Cleveland Clinic for a year. Then all of a sudden they show up back at your door and they're like, oh, look at you. Look at you looking all nice and proper. And that's what Tennessee did. And Tennessee must have been like they did not let him leave the facility when they brought him in for another interview. They were like, "No, we good." They locked the doors and they were like, "You are not leaving here until we get pen to paper." So in that way,
Right, he
I
was on
credit
his way
them.
out. He was like, "How do you get out of here? These doors are locked." He was like,
Yeah,
"We were just having lunch. Won't you come have
yeah,
lunch with us?" And
yeah. Excuse me,
they
I have my
signed him.
visitor pass still, but it's not letting me exit. And they're like, "Oh no, we're upgrading you. It's not a visitor pass. We gotta get you your actual swipe. You
Right.
stay in here."
Yeah, for real.
Um,
So I
I
give that
think
coach for no, I give that grade for Tennessee. I give that a B minus, I guess. Yeah.
I'm gonna go better. I think that's the right situation for Saleh. Young quarterback. He's allowed to mold that defense how he sees fit. Um, I'm going B, and plus it's Tennessee, it's Nashville. That's a way hell of a lot less noise than the New York effing Jets. So he can have a chance to breathe. He's not in a he's not in a terribly difficult division because I'll tell you after seeing them in person, and then we saw what happened last week. Houston's got a great defense. There ain't nothing to write home about on offense when you have a quarterback that pisses down his legs. Um, Indianapolis is okay. Um, they were starting to get exposed even before the Daniel Jones injury, but that is what it is. Jacksonville, your boy Sunshine, you know, they look nice, but always something funny happening with Jacksonville when it comes time. Something always funny happening. So,
Yeah, but they were playing Buffalo though. I mean, they should have beat
yeah,
them though. They should have won that game though.
agreed. But I mean, you screw around and go for it on a fourth down, you make some questionable, but we can get into that another time. But I think his situation that he's walking into there, while roster wise, it's not the best, I think he's got plenty of runway there where he's not in a pressure cooker like he was in New York, where it's win now, win, damn it. Like, look at what Aaron Glenn had to go through after 1 year there. Like, half the people are calling for him to be fired, and only because Woody loved him as a player so much, he's apparently keeping him around for a second season. But you start out 1-4 next year, you're probably dead man walking, and that's not fun. So Tennessee, it's not like that. It's not anywhere close to the same type of environment there. Um, so that's a good spot to have a second shot at a head coaching gig.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you mentioned so what coaches are left right now that um
Well, everybody and their mother is turning down Cleveland, which for me, as a Pittsburgher, is just unobjectively fucking hilarious. Like, thanks. We know there's only 32 seats, but we don't need that seat. Nah, I'm good over here. I appreciate you wanting to give me the promotion, but that's a special kind of special over there. I don't need that in my life. Thanks. I think they're going to end up promoting Schwartz from defensive coordinator unless they do something like how they did with Deshaun, where they go to somebody and they throw insane amount of money and go, please, for the love of God, just be our head coach. Here's $25 million, something absurd. Like how they ended up when Deshaun told them, thanks, but no thanks. I'd rather go to Carolina or Atlanta. And then they go, but we'll give you all the money guaranteed. And we're going to give you even more of it. And then he goes, you know what? All right. If they do something stupid like that, then maybe they end up with someone like maybe a McDermott or some other name. But outside of that, I think they're going to end up with Jim Schwartz being promoted from defensive coordinator because everybody on the defense obviously loves him, especially Miles. So I think they'll promote from within. I just find it funny that Mike McDaniel goes, yeah, my autistic ass ain't going up there and dealing with that shit. No thanks. I'd rather go be the O coordinator in LA for the Chargers than be
which
the
is
head
smart.
coach in Cleveland.
Which is smart.
Oh, it's
Because
fucking
I
brilliant.
think
But they're there are
I
others that are
think
just
he's I
straight
think he's
turning down
more fit to
interviews.
yeah, I think he's more fit to be an offensive coordinator anyway. He doesn't strike
Yeah.
me as a leader of men, but he can call some plays though. He can do that.
There were people here like going, "Hey, what about that McDaniel guy? He's got innovative offense and we could be innovative and stuff." And I'm like, you fuckers want him around, yet let him show up in Pittsburgh wearing capris on the sidelines once, and you motherfuckers will want him burned at the stake. Like, come on now, read the room. But no, McDaniel made the absolute, like, he would fit Arizona.
Right.
Like, that would be the gig if he's not going to be the OC in LA. He should, if he gets interviewed anywhere for their head coaching gig, it shouldn't be Buffalo. It shouldn't be here or there, even though I know Buffalo interviewed him and they interviewed Phillip Rivers, which, whatever.
They did?
He fits. Yeah, they interviewed him today. He fits. Mike McDaniel fits Arizona. Like, he screams Arizona type head coach.
I
But
can't believe that Phillip Rivers got a coaching
interview.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Uh,
he interviewed for the Buffalo Bills head coaching gig today.
Hey, but he was out there balling for who I'm telling you, he was. That's because he know how to read defense.
Yeah, but he's
So
also
that's
throwing
why.
the ball like it's a fucking shot put.
But the thing about that old arm ain't just arming, and
Dude, he looked like he was
he never
training for
really
the
had
LA
one like
Olympics
that
in 2
either,
years.
huh?
He looked like he's training for the LA Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
he never really had
2028
the
gold
arm
medal.
strength like that anyway. He never really was arm type guy anyway. So,
Mm.
but he know the game. But I don't know about a head coaching position. But to each their own. I can't knock the hustle.
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
yeah. So the teams that are left this weekend, there's 2 games: the Rams and the Seahawks, and Buffalo. And I'm not Buffalo. I'm sorry, Denver and the Patriots. Let's go
Mhm.
with Denver and Patriots game. That should be easier to pick. I got the Patriots on that. I'm not so sold all the way on that because uh, I heard that they have a hard time with backup quarterbacks. So you never know what might happen if they defense show up for the Broncos. But I just think that they're going to put up way too many points.
I think it's going to be close. I think Sean Payton can scheme a bit, but New England is 8-0 on the road this year. Denver's just a different environment, Mile High and all that stuff. And plus, I think the defense knows that they're going to have to play like damn near perfect if they want to get to the Super Bowl. I still favor New England to come out, but of course they get the easiest fucking cakewalk of all time. The arguably the easiest schedule in the NFL this year. Then you play a team that doesn't have an O line. Wild card weekend, you look like shit, but because they don't have an O line, their O line's like NAIA level. You beat them half asleep. Then you play in the divisional round a quarterback that pissed down his leg the week before, only to further piss down his leg in front of you, even though you sucked then. And then you play the number 1 seed who happened to have their quarterback snap his fucking ankle like a twig the next to the last play of the game. So fucking lucky. But I think New England wins close. Now, do they cover the 4.5 they're favored by? That's a bit dicey, but I think they win close. But I've got New England.
Yeah, I got New England going out there and handling business. Like I don't know, they're gonna cover that 4 points. That's what I think. I
Okay.
see that game like 27-17 type game. Like
Okay. Yeah.
that's what I see with that. The more competitive game, however, is the Seahawks and the Rams. Now, for
Mm-hmm.
me, I got the Rams having the playoff experience, the Super Bowl experience. They were almost right there last year, and they didn't. They almost looked like they was dead to rights this year a little bit. They sputtering a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. Then they came alive because the cardiac Bears, the Cinderella Bears, it struck midnight and too early. They didn't do the. They didn't. They just. I just feel like that they kind of just are ready. Because Sam Darnold, if that defense can get to him, we don't know what Sam Darnold's going to show up, but we know which one to show up that they get him off his spot. But Seattle does have a really, really good defense too, so it's going to be a close game. I just think I'm going to choose the Rams in this game, in a close game, like a 3-point game.
We agree again. This is dangerous. The Rams are not going to be intimidated going up to Seattle. They have put up points against Seattle up there, so that's not going to be a thing for them. Hopefully Devontae's fully healthy for it, or as healthy as he can be. And I think the Rams D-line, led by two Knowles. Sorry, man. I'll take my wins where I can get them. I think they have messed up Darnold in the past. I think they know that the game should be in LA. They really should have won the division, but a couple of insane bounces went Seattle's way the last time they were up there, and the Rams let that game go. I don't think they make that same mistake this time. I got the Rams winning, and I have them winning the Super Bowl, which, by the way, matches my bracket pool at work for $500, me having the Rams and Patriots and the Rams winning it. So I'm financially invested in this as well. But I think if you're a Seahawks fan, when you were watching that overtime between the Rams and the Bears, you were begging Caleb to just finish the fucking job, because I think the Seahawks would have dog walked the Bears.
Yeah, I think I'm agree with you. I don't want to see the Patriots win the Super Bowl for sure. I want to see you win your Munyon. So that I'm with the Rams too, and it's a California team. So
what would be low key hilarious? You have idiots like Portnoy talking about we invented winning, like they were the first team to win 6. You weren't. We got there first. But also, yeah, you have the AFC record for AFC champion titles and stuff like that. But what's your Super Bowl record, even with Tom Brady? You go and lose this Super Bowl, you're literally going to be 6-6 in the Super Bowl. You're 500. You're a glorified coin toss. I don't know. Me personally, I'd rather be 6-2 in Super Bowls than 6-6. I don't know. What do I know about that?
What do you know? All right. Well, let's get to this quick little. Did you see that? Couple things that we saw. I know one thing that all of us saw was that play from Caleb Williams. Now, that's probably was one of the dopest plays I've seen in a long time. He broke every quarterback rule. And I'm gonna say this: if it wasn't snowing, I don't think that would have happened if it wasn't snowing, because of the speed of the players chasing you, and then not only that, as a receiver, the little push off kind of help, because you can't recover as fast in the snow or
Yeah, but the push off was so egregious, but they're never calling that in that spot.
No, they're never calling it.
And his arm talent is so absurd. It's crazy. Obviously Mahomes is crazy talented with his arm, but I don't see that's Mahomes in his prime type stuff. And now you got me sounding like Chris Collinsworth. Oh, here's a Patrick Mahomes would have done. I feel terrible even saying that, but that's literally the only other dude in the NFL that could have done that. He literally ran back to the 35, 40-yard line and just it wasn't like he flung it blind. He knew what he was doing when he threw the damn ball to that spot. Just so absurd.
Let's take a look.
Come on, strap up, baby. Strap up. Fourth and 4 at the 14. Command left, snap to Williams. Williams backing up, being chased, going way back now, back to his 40. Launch a pass into the end zone.
No.
Go, come back, caught the ball, touchdown, left corner of the end zone. My goodness, the Iceman did it one more time.
And when that happened, I was saying that the Bears were special this year because usually you see like a special team doing special things. And once I saw that, and then there's always a point in the game where if you don't cash in, especially against a quarterback like Stafford, which was why I'm picking them for the Super Bowl, is like you gave him second chance because that drive that they had, that drive that they could have just gone and kicked the field goal and ended the game, but got a little too greedy, or maybe the defender ran the wrong route, whatever happened. That window opportunity closed, and the Bears lost.
I think with everything that happened, like the following day, like locker room clean out and everything, I think something's up with DJ Moore. Like, I think that's a low under the surface kind of thing there. I think it's pretty clear that DJ, that was a horrible route he took, and he wasn't even doing it at full speed. Like, there was no attempt to even play defender there. Like, that was not the best look. But also, if you're Caleb, you don't need to, like, I get you like taking chances every once in a while, but in that moment right there, that's not the moment to take that shot. Like, it's just, the play's not there. You had stuff underneath that you could have checked it down to, or you could have ran. Any type of positive gain is good for you, gets you closer in field goal range, even though given the conditions. But it's still that one or two unnecessary shots that you take, which he mostly had out of his game for most of the year, at least in the fourth quarter. That's why he had so many fourth quarter crazy ass comebacks this year. But he forced it at the absolute worst time.
Yeah, well, Cinderella lost her slipper and went to the nail shop. Here we go. All right, here we go. We were talking about this earlier. This one was tough. Now you have some time to think about it. Let's see what you guys think about it in the chat.
Work, you or Shady?
Crazy work?
Yeah. Come on.
Shady has some work. Shady has some crazy work. He has some. Oh, better.
He's my idol, but
better. He only played running back. See, I play receiver. I play punt returner. I did kickoff return. I did everything.
Was just like crazy. Like, so you won't sit it no more. So who? So you have more crazy work?
Yeah, right. I did more.
I play running back. I don't know about nothing else.
That's what I'm saying.
Be honest. Not USC bias. In the NFL, are you taking Shady or Reggie?
Shoot.
Just in the NFL. So we're excluding USC, Bush against Pitt, Shady. Man, here's Shady has the overall numbers. No denying that. But correct me if I'm wrong, Reggie Bush was a contributor, a key contributor in that Super Bowl 44 win for the Saints. True or false?
True.
Okay. Shady has 2 Super Bowl rings. Tell me, how many snaps did he play in either of those 2 Super Bowls he won?
I don't think he played. Like, he wasn't a factor at all, really. I forgot Shady even had 2 Super Bowls, really.
Yep, he has one with the Buccaneers as a gift and another one with the Chiefs as a gift. Kenny Pickett got more play time last year with the Eagles as the backup quarterback in the Super Bowl than Shady. Shady got 2 rings as like a glorified thank you. Now he's got the overall numbers, but it's like Reggie Bush said. Reggie was a Swiss Army knife. Shady was strictly a running back. And I can do a lot more damage with a Swiss Army knife when if I take a Swiss Army knife into battle, I can do a lot more, and I'm a lot more versatile. I like versatility. I would take Reggie. But if you add the college days, it's not even close. Reggie by a mile.
Oh yeah,
And
Reggie was next level.
And Shady was fantastic at Pitt. I got to see that up close and personal. Shady was fantastic, but he wasn't Reggie Bush. Like
so, in their prime, it's hard to say somebody got more crazy work than Shady when he came up with the word, damn near, right? Or popularized it or whatever. Like Shady gave him crazy work. Reggie Bush is probably the definition of crazy work, right?
Reggie Bush is ludicrous work,
right?
Is what he was.
And so, if I have to choose between the two, though, it's tough. This is tough because my heart want to say Shady. It does. My heart says want to say Shady. But Reggie Bush was him. Now, what make Reggie Bush smart is he didn't answer the question because he basically was like, I did more things, you know. And we just talk about running back, really, like at running back in the NFL, in their prime, I probably would go, I'm going with Reggie Bush.
Especially, let me ask you this. Take Ashton Genty aside. Like, let's remove Ashton Genty from the equation. He's not on the Raiders. Who can plug up more holes for you for your team? Shady McCoy or Reggie Bush?
Reggie Bush.
Exactly. Like Reggie, like you got your punt returner. Like he's that dude you want the ball in his hands, like not even just as a running back. You can have him out in the flat. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up out wide if you really wanted to. You want to get innovative and crazy. Like Le'Veon Bell. Like Reggie Bush was Le'Veon Bell before Le'Veon Bell picked up a fucking football. Now, granted, Le'Veon Bell didn't return punts, but Le'Veon Bell was crazy out of the backfield with his hands and everything. And I'll tell you this, I'll take Le'Veon Bell blindfolded and backwards over Shady in their prime. Like, you give me Killer Bees, Le'Veon Bell, in a walk. Like, I moonwalk to a victory. Like, I'm Michael Jackson with a shiny fucking glove on and everything.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Reggie Bush, right?
Now, if we're saying who's the better running back in the NFL, it's Shady. But that's not the question. You're asking who would you take in the NFL, Shady or Reggie? And like you said, Reggie astutely pointed it out. I did more. And Shady goes, well, I only play running back. That's all I know. Which, yeah, you played it really well, but I'll take the dude that can not only do your job at maybe 80% of your effectiveness, but also do all these other crazy ass things over here that I can work with. Like you're a glorified one-trick pony. I'll take this dude that can do 3 or 4 different things for me.
And not to mention, at any given moment, he can do what you've done. The thing is, he was playing with the Saints. So if he would have played with the Eagles, he probably would have been going crazy. Like,
yeah, it's all under Andy Reid.
Yeah,
having Andy Reid there. Phew.
Yeah. So here's another clip. The last clip of Did You See That? Now this is getting serious right here. This weight draining thing.
A dog, but he's been on the wrong side of a couple of decisions.
135.5 for Cameron.
Oh no! Oh no, bro! Oh no!
Oh my God!
Oh gosh!
What happened?
No.
Oh, he fainted.
Oh, that's not good.
That's
That
the
is
first time I've ever seen
I've
that.
never
No, I
seen
know,
that.
I haven't
never
either.
seen.
A dog, but he's been on the wrong side of a couple of decisions.
135.5 for Cameron.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
No,
Oh,
bro!
Oh, no!
Oh
my
God!
Oh, God.
See,
Well, at least he made weight first.
yeah. I mean, could you imagine not making weight and walking off that scale and then face planting like that? Fuck. So I never had to cut weight when I wrestled. I could walk up to the scale in sweats and shoes and still make my weight class when I wrestled. Um, but even with the dudes that I'd be around that were cutting weight for day of matches and stuff, I never seen it that crazy. So that you need to get that man a couple of Nutrigrain bars and some water or some Pedialyte, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Do we know if after that they called off that fight?
I
Because
don't
that was
know.
today. That was
Yeah,
today.
I don't know. And the thing about it is that cutting weight thing, that's dangerous. Like I don't I mean I understand why they do it. It was always a thing in boxing, but now it's to the point now that fighters are scared to move up. The money might be at a lower weight class. You cut weight. You obviously don't have the power or the energy you normally would going into the fight, but you just go in there anyway. It's almost like you're putting yourself in a bad position. And with the guy passing out like that, I'm sure once he gets something to eat and replenish himself, he'll be ready to fight.
Yeah, but it may not be the best look for you as an organization, especially with your first fight on your new partnership with Paramount Plus and CBS. That may not be the best look for you to allow a dude that did that and who could not get up under his own power. But also, you're a professional. Like, what did you do to have to cut weight that significant in the last waning minutes or hours of a weight cut that you had to go so severe that you dehydrated yourself to the point that you passed out off of the scale? Like, I would have questions not only of him but also his his camp. Like, what the hell were you guys doing for the last week to 2 weeks? Like, you see all this stuff and you watch like the behind the scenes of the UFC and you see them cutting weight, the last day or two, and they do like all the towels and the wraps and the baths and everything. And okay, yeah, that's, it's a professional way to do it. They do the little things here and there, but like he would have had to do that to such a severe, like, I mean, I'm not the biggest dude. I'm a skinny guy myself, but that motherfucker looked like matchsticks. Like, he looked malnourished. Like, if you gave him a packet of ramen noodles, he'd probably gain 8 pounds just off that alone.
Well, it looked like the ground knocked him out. So I don't know, like you said, I don't know what they're gonna do about the fight, but
I'm gonna look that up after we get off the show here, because now I'm like, I had seen it earlier and I was like, damn, that's fucking brutal. But I didn't follow up on it to see if they actually, oof, crazy.
well, last but not least, we gotta touch on this a
Hmm.
little bit, right?
Hmm.
And my man Jimmy Buckets went down on Monday with a severe ACL injury. Now, we brought Jimmy Butler in, Golden State Warriors, to keep our dynasty alive to make one more run at a chip.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jimmy Butler is injured. He's out for the season. Is that the end of the Warriors dynasty? Is that the domino that fell? Or we no longer light years ahead? Is it the end of the Warriors?
I think even though it's a great catchphrase and we make fun, we have our little jokes about it on the show and whatnot. I think we have to come to the agreement that the Warriors are just walking among us in real time now, at the very least. I think they're in trouble. Now, there's a certain other team that's all about the glitz and glamour, and a certain someone that likes to call himself the GOAT that I think is in worse shape. But for the Warriors, like how we've come to know the Warriors, yeah, they're in a lot of trouble right now. Like, where are they in the West right now? Where's their standing in the division and in the conference?
I think their standing is what's the first. I think they like hovering at 9 or 10 or something like that.
Which is barely getting you into the play-in right now because it's 10 spots.
Yeah.
I
Can they hold on? I just don't. I don't think I see it either. So this is the thing. Everyone's complaining about how the Warrior and Steve Kerr is coaching Kuminga. Now, Kuminga he was inserted into the lineup. And this is what Steve Kerr said as soon as Jimmy Butler got in, because you wonder, a lot of people say, well, he don't like Kuminga, he don't want to play Kuminga, but this is what he said.
Go to Kuminga if there is a need for that position.
Absolutely.
They just
wait.
Yep.
Could you go to Kuminga if there is a need for that position?
Absolutely.
Is he ready? I mean, in practice and all those things.
Yep.
And so I think
keeping it simple.
Right, keeping it very simple. I think that see, Kuminga, a lot of people would think Steve Kerr just messing with Kuminga, but Kuminga he gets his chances, and then when it's not even a competitive thing, like when Jimmy Butler goes down and you don't have you're gonna play, then you get injured. He gets injured at the wrong time. He's been on the trade market. Nobody's really been knocking down the doors for him. They making it seem like the Warriors is getting more offers and we're just acting like that. We don't want, like, we want to do this to Kuminga. No. Steve Kerr is catching a lot of flack for that. Do I think that this is like the end of the Warriors dynasty? I mean, like, the hope in me is saying no, because as long as we got Wardell 30, we got a chance, right? And we do got some players that could, can make some moves, but we don't know yet because Steve Kerr been tinkering with the lineup, so that way when we get down the stretch, he knows what to expect from who, and he can just be the mad scientist. But we lost a big piece of that equation, and the whole reason why we went to go get Jimmy Buckets is to extend the dynasty. And now that he's gone, it's a flicker of light. It's really like looking bleak.
The thing when you think about like how simple Steve Kerr kept those answers and everything, remind me of something. I know the answers obviously, but for anybody out there that may be watching, who are the notable head coaches Steve Kerr has played under and also been influenced by?
Popovich, Phil Jackson.
Exactly. And what were the two of them the absolute masters of?
Keeping it short and sweet and playing the psychological game.
Exactly. Not only in the locker room and everything, but even through the media. Using the media to get every bit of psychological that they could to figure out who's in it for the long haul and everything. And like he's putting it out there that to Kuminga, like you have a shot. What are you gonna do about it? Because I'm not gonna come at you and be like, oh, I love you and all this. But he's also not gonna go, no, he's a fucking scrub. He's gonna ride the pine pony. we're gonna figure out what we can do to replace Jimmy with somebody out there in the trade market. He's not doing that. He just kept it nice and simple and said, yeah, we can go to him. He's got to do the work. Like, that's the subtle message he's sending to Kuminga. Like, hey, you're either in this now and you show up now, or I've done all I can with you.
Well, the Warriors gave him the money. They gave him some money.
I mean, money's nice when you look at it in your bank account and shit, but also,
No, what I'm saying
like,
is that now that's no longer the excuse, because last year the excuse was they don't want to pay him. They didn't want to give him his
right.
money. They're doing that to hurt his pockets. And now they gave him the money, and now the same situation came up. There's no longer the money. Now what's the excuse?
Well, that's the excuse. That's, if I'm not mistaken, that's like some of the media people, beat writers, and like fans and stuff. Correct? That's not the excuse that came out from Kuminga himself, right?
Well, no, that's what all like the ex-players are saying, like Gilbert
Mm.
Arenas and Kenyon
Oh,
Martin, and there's a lot of people saying that. A lot of
I
players.
know, but hold on. You said the wrong name first. You said Gilbert Arenas. Whoop, I'm out.
Right.
That
Then
man
you
hitched
said Kenyon Martin.
that man hitched his wagon to Skip Bayless, and they look like fucking running jokes on that whatever show they got going on. Good for you. You're still assholes. You fucking trash. Um, See, unlike Skip, I would have got inside Joy Taylor's pants, but that's just me. But she's a local Pittsburgher. Stick to our own. I know how to talk to a fellow Yinzer. What's up, Turtle Creek? But I think he knows. Like, if anybody knows what buttons to push with Kuminga, it would be Kerr. And I think if Kerr really didn't want him on the team, whether they lined his pockets up or not, he would not be on this team right now. Like, they would have moved him and picked up pieces to be able to backfill and be able to pick up this slack. Not saying that they would have picked all of it up from Jimmy, but someone else that they thought they could bring in to help alongside and try to fight their way into even the play-in, which crazy, but I mean, it's a brutal world out there, and I mean, credit OKC, they have built a fucking machine. And the fact that they have so many draft picks and stuff that they can still weaponize and use
That's scary.
That
part is scary. They're beatable though. The Warriors been
they're
playing very,
beatable.
very good.
They're beatable, but they're what they are is a problem for the next 7 to 10 years easy.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely going to be the new Warriors, so to speak, because of how they built their team. They're young and they're marketable. So I can see them taking over. It's just that now the Warriors is just hanging on by a thread. They've been playing very, very well. This last home stretch before Jimmy got hurt, they was like 7-1 at the homestand and winning by 20 points in like 5 of them games at least. This is just hurt. And this is what's been hurting the Warriors is injuries at the wrong time. And I don't necessarily say it's age, because the way he tweaked it, that could have happened to anybody, but it's starting to catch up to the Warriors. But you know me, I think we got one more in this still. Pause.
Yeah, big pause there. Yeah, I love that you're going down with the ship, man. There's something to be said there. I commend you. I can't. I'm looking for one of the available rafts to get in. Women and children first. Women and children first. I'm cool with that. But you make sure to save a seat for this guy, because you're gonna be the captain. You're gonna stand there while the guys are playing the fucking violence stuff. You're gonna stand there in the middle of it all and just watch the water just come rushing in on you. Just be like, well, fuck it.
We won 4 championships on these ones.
Hell
We
yeah.
did
You just hold up those 4 rings as you go down. You're just like, yeah, it was worth it. Worth it.
this.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna be up talking about. But Steph hasn't retired yet. So yeah, so Warrior fans, I'm still on there. Like you said, the water is up to our knee though. That's kind of no pun intended. Sorry, Jimmy, but we're gonna
It's
have to
not cold
start
like it would have been in the Arctic, is it? The water is like at least like room temperature, right? It's not too cold. Like you can kind of
no,
you can bear with it right now. It's not like
right now.
hypothermia is setting in.
No, not yet, but we don't know in the next like 10, 15, 20 games.
Fair.
For sure, for sure. So
Mhm.
y'all make sure y'all lock in with Business and City Sports. Nice show on the comeback. I really appreciate you, Josh, for riding with your boy.
Always.
Man, we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking sports. Still want to do the hockey. I'm learning a little bit more and more, and I'm watching more and more hockey on my own.
You got
Now
to
that
go
the
pay
season is starting to
attention.
dwindle down, I'm going to get more into it. So make sure
You
y'all
got to
hit
pay
that
attention.
subscribe button.
Pay attention to those Sharks, dude. And I'm telling you right now, Macklin Celebrini, that boy, like for real, to be named on the Canadian team at 19 years old, like that boy the truth. So you need to go support that dude. Go get you a jersey of his, and then every time he scores, the goal song should be "Return of the Mac," because that would just be hilarious. But
That would just be perfect, right?
they got a nice young team out there, man. They're 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 a year ahead of schedule too. That's going to be your new team. That's light years ahead out in the
Well,
Bay Area.
we
Telling you.
need a championship out here. Uh, we need to hoist the trophy out here. I would love that. I'll definitely go to the.
Just don't play the Penguins in the final, and you'll be all right.
Still play the Penguins in the finals.
You know what happened the last time? You got that ass whooped.
Yeah,
The one
what they
time you
say,
guys
Bill.
finally make the final.
Right, and we was good that year too,
Yeah, you were good. We
but
were
not
great.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, you're my brother from another. You know I love you, brother. Thanks for hacking in with me. We will be
Always.
back sometime next week. Hopefully we can have the other guys with us. And man, hit the comments on the playback. Let us know that you watched us on the playback. And thanks for hacking in.
Hit the like. It's free.
Absolutely free.